everyone, welcome back and thank you as always for watching. I hope you're really excited for this video because it's something that a lot of you requested. I did a top 5 favorite foundations video and I asked you guys if you wanted to see a drugstore version of that, and probably like 95% of you said you did. And I'm going one step further. I'm gonna start doing a best of series. I'm just gonna pick my top 5 favorites in each category, my top 5 favorite concealers, lipsticks, everything. For now, I'm gonna jump into my top 5 favorite drugstore foundations, and you know the drill. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. The first drugstore foundation I'm going to talk about is one that I actually tried a few years ago and loved it. I used it in a few videos and they've sort of updated the formula. It's the Maybelline Fit Me foundation. I know a lot of you love this foundation and I'm not surprised because it is awesome. The reason I'm holding two is because now they have one that's for a dewy finish. It's better for dry skin, and one that's a matte and poreless finish. It's good for oilier skin types. Now, you guys know that I am normal dry, a little bit on the dry side, but I have tried both and I sort of like the finish on both. The matte one isn't too drying for my skin. Again, I'm dry normal. I'm not dry normal. That sounds really weird. Normal dry, how about that? But it doesn't leave me really dry and flaky. So if you do have super dry skin, may not be the best option for you, but the Dewy and Smooth might be a good one for you. Honestly, the first original Fit Me foundation was perfect. I didn't think they needed to improve on it at all. I don't know if I still have, it's probably expired. Yeah, I shouldn't use that one anymore. So I guess if I just want a little bit more of just a more dewy finish, I will use the Dewy and Smooth. And the matte and poreless, I don't use that often just because I don't really want a super matte finish most of the time. But again, it did work just fine for my skin. What initially made me fall in love with the Fit Me foundation is the fact that it worked for my olive skin. Oh my gosh, it's so hard to find drugstore foundations that work for olive skin. Everything tends to turn out really pink, and I talked about this in my last foundation video, but when it comes to drugstore foundations, it's extra hard because there tend to be a lot fewer color options in the drugstore selection than in the more luxury or high-end brand. And just for reference, in the original Fit Me foundation, I was the number 220. In the Dewy, I'm now using the 240, the golden beige, and in the matte and poreless, I have the 228, which is soft tan. Both foundations give such a beautiful finish, not heavy at all. It's perfect for a medium coverage. It's just the kind of finish that you want to see in a foundation. All right, moving on to the next foundation, I have the Revlon PhotoReady Airbrush Effect. I used this in my last full face drugstore tutorial and I hadn't used it before. It was kind of like just walking into it blindly, and I was so impressed with this foundation. The finish, I have to say, this is probably better for maybe normal to dry skin types. If you're oily, this might end up looking a little bit slick on you, but the finish on this, especially if you're into more dewy, a little bit more natural finishes, but get really good coverage, this is probably one of the best out there. The color that I use is the 8, it's the golden beige. Again, a good match for my skin. It is slightly darker than me, but again, my body, you can see, is, I don't know what kind of reference that gives you, but if I didn't have makeup on, you could see that my arm is a lot darker than my face. I usually have to warm up my face just because I put sunblock on my face. So when I use this, it matches my body perfectly. I've never once found this foundation to just sit on top of the skin. It just kind of glides on and sort of mimics the skin. That's kind of what I love. I think this reminds me a lot of the Too Faced Born This Way foundation, which I told you guys was my favorite foundation, and this kind of reminds me of it. It's a really good dupe for it. But for this covering so well and having such a nice dewy finish and being really lightweight, it's definitely a winner. And let me take that back. It's not a really dewy finish. It's like a semi-dewy. It's definitely not matte or anything, but it gives a very natural finish where there's still a little bit of I don't know, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Not iridescence. Dimension. There we go. It has a really natural dimension to it. You know, sometimes when a foundation is too dewy, it just looks like wet, and sometimes when it's too matte, it just looks like one-dimensional, super like powdery. This has that natural movement. Again, like I said, it sort of mimics skin. Now, my next foundation is also by Revlon, and this one I particularly love because I'm not accustomed to trying anything other than liquid foundations. It's just easiest for me. I'm used to that. I don't really venture out and try anything else, but out of the probably, I don't know, 12 or like 10 to 12 foundations that I got, I really tried to mix it up between cream, some of the whipped ones, liquid, no powder ones, because I just don't believe in powder foundation. That's just a personal choice. But I'm really, really glad I tried this one, the Revlon ColorStay Whipped Makeup. You guys are probably familiar with the ColorStay liquid foundation, and I have not tried that one, but everyone raves about it, so I said, why don't I try the whipped one? It just seemed really interesting to me. So that's how it looks on the inside. It has, like the name says, a really whipped texture. It's a very light, airy, semi-cream, semi-liquid, but again, very light and airy. This color, which is the number 370 Natural Tan, is slightly dark for me, but it's perfect for me when I'm a little bit tan. I'm actually wearing this right now, and then I've also highlighted with the Age Rewind. You guys know I love this thing. So you can see it works for me, and it warms up my skin really nicely to match the rest of my body, but man, oh man, does this cover well. And I don't know how they made it such a lightweight product for how well it actually covers. And this one I will say is good for, maybe best for normal to oilier skin types. Again, I'm normal dry, and it works beautifully for me. So I think a lot of these foundations that I chose have a little bit of wiggle room as far as skin types. But again, just such a lightweight layer for how well it covers on the skin. All right, next up, another Maybelline selection, and I also have two of these because I wasn't sure which color was gonna be right for me, so I bought the, which one is this? I wanna say it's Warm Nude. Is it Warm Nude? It's Warm Nude. And the other color is the Rich Tan, so number 30 and number 80. I'm actually really glad I bought both of these because together they make the perfect color for me. The number 30 by itself is probably good for when I'm a little bit more pale than usual, and the 80 is good for when I'm more tan. I was drawn to this foundation because the label says better skin transforming foundation, so obviously I got it. Now the big selling point on this foundation is that supposedly over time, in like a few weeks as you wear it, it's supposed to make your skin look better. Whatever, I'm not interested in that. I don't really know if it does that or not, but I do know that it covers well, and it actually has a very similar finish to the Revlon ColorStay, but this one again was whipped and this one was liquid. This was another one that I chose again because of its skin type friendly finish. It's not dewy, it's not matte, it's just very normal. So anyone from dry skin to oily skin, and when I say any skin type, if you're extremes on either side, I would not listen to me, but if you're just a little bit dry or a little bit oily, this should work just fine for you. This one I would say is a solid medium to full coverage foundation, and it's definitely one of the better ones that I tried in the drugstore selection. This one, as I was testing them, really did stay on for a very long time, so I had no issues with it sliding off or fading away. It actually does a really good job of staying on the skin. But yeah, another solid foundation that has a nice breathable finish but covers really well. And now for my final drugstore foundation pick, I'm actually going to share a cream makeup, which I don't think I've ever used on my channel. Maybe like once I've used cream makeup on my channel. Now I picked this one up because I've tried the Neutrogena Healthy Skin Liquid Foundation, so I said, why don't we give the cream makeup a chance? And I'm really glad I opened my mind and tried it because I loved this foundation. The color that I use is the Natural Beige, and it is pretty much exactly my skin color, which usually means it's a little too light for me, but not really noticeable. It comes in this compact where it has the mirror, and it's got a little sponge with it too. And what's great about this foundation is most foundations have anywhere from like an SPF 8 to an SPF 20. This one has an SPF 55, and normally I don't like suggesting using only makeup as sunscreen. I always put on my sunscreen and then put on makeup over it. But I get it, some people are just too lazy for that extra step. Trust me, I'm lazy too. Look at my nails. I mean, really, I can't even be bothered to like file them. So if that's the situation you're in, this is an excellent drugstore foundation pick. And the coverage is, I mean, it will cover everything. But sometimes when you've got a cream foundation, it gets really slick and like thick, greasy. This one was just perfect. It had a really good finish. I don't know that I would necessarily recommend, I don't know, again, I don't have oily skin, so I don't know, those of you who do have oily skin, what your experience has been with cream foundations. I would imagine you probably don't use them, but let's chat about that in the comments. I'm very curious, like, let me know. It's not a dewy finish or anything. It has a just a very normal finish. Again, a natural, not matte, not dewy finish. But because of the way it sort of glides onto the skin, because it is a cream foundation, it makes me think it's probably not best for oilier skin types. Like I said, I'm normal dry and it worked great for me. So if you're somewhere in the normal skin type range and you're looking for something that covers really well and has an SPF, this is great. And just in general, if you're looking for a cream compact makeup from the drugstore, this is probably the best one out there. I've tried some other cream ones, you guys, and they were just not good. One that I really regret not getting, that I really wanted to try, was the CoverGirl Olay one, where it has like the swirl of the lotion in there. I didn't get that one, and I'm kind of sad I didn't. I keep thinking about it. So if any one of you has tried that one, let me know in the comments if you liked it. So I hope you guys found this helpful. Maybe one or two of these are your favorites, or maybe I've inspired you to try a brand new foundation. Whatever the case may be, let's chat down in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. And again, like I said, I'm gonna be doing more of these best of videos. So let me know what category you want to see next, whether it's concealer or blush or lipstick, whatever it is. Let me know down in the comments. Mwah! I love you guys so much, and I'll see you soon.